Hello brains! Welcome back to another video. In this episode we're going to be discussing the superpower that is pattern recognition. If you like videos where we talk about how being neurodivergent gives us unique strengths and skills, then make sure to stay tuned because that's what we do here. Hi, I am Jag, just taking a quick break to explain some things. As late-diagnosed autistic and ADHD, still figuring things out one day at a time, I use AI to help me create videos so I can share my message more clearly. It helps me concentrate better, stay organized, but also tap into my creativity. Now, you might have heard me say this before, but one of my favorite quotes from another creator, Ben Branson. He says, "Great minds think differently." And it just really makes you think, doesn't it? It makes you think about all the possibilities out there and all the ways we can use our brains to make sense of the world around us. And that's exactly what we're gonna do today. We're gonna unlock the patterns that are all around us and discover how recognizing them can help us succeed in school, at work, and in life. So get ready to see your brain in a whole new light. You might be surprised at what you find. First, let's take a step back and look at what pattern recognition actually is. In simple terms, pattern recognition is the ability to identify similarities and differences between things. It's the ability to see the bigger picture by focusing on the details. We all have this ability to some degree, but some of us, particularly those who are neurodivergent, have it in spades. But why is this such a big deal? Well, pattern recognition is a critical skill for problem solving. By identifying patterns, we can make predictions and take actions accordingly. For example, if you notice that your plants are wilting, you might correctly surmise that they need water. Or if you see dark clouds on the horizon, you might predict that it's going to rain soon and take an umbrella with you. These are just basic examples, of course, but the same principle applies to much more complex situations. And that's where neurodivergent brains really excel. Those of us who are neurodivergent often have a unique ability to spot patterns that others miss. This is because our brains work differently. We tend to think outside the box and don't always follow the same rules as neurotypical people. This can be a huge asset when it comes to pattern recognition. For example, some neurodivergent people have an incredible ability to memorize and recall vast amounts of information. This could be anything from trivia to obscure details about a particular topic. And while this may not seem like a particularly useful skill at first glance, it can be incredibly valuable when it comes to pattern recognition. By remembering a lot of information, these individuals are able to spot connections that others might miss. They're able to see the big picture by focusing on the small details, and that gives them a unique advantage when solving problems. However, the ADHD and autistic brains are wired to seek patterns. This means that many of us are naturally curious and enjoy solving puzzles or mysteries. We love figuring out how things work and finding the underlying order in seemingly chaotic situations. This can be a great strength when it comes to pattern recognition because we're already predisposed to looking for patterns. We're also able to think creatively and come up with innovative solutions to problems. We're not afraid to challenge the status quo and question existing assumptions, and that means we're often able to see patterns that others simply don't. For example, autistic people are known for their ability to hyper-focus on topics that interest them. This means that they're able to immerse themselves in a subject and really get to the bottom of it. They're able to spot patterns and make connections that others wouldn't even think to look for. Similarly, people with ADHD often have a unique ability to think outside the box. They're not afraid to come up with unconventional ideas and challenge the status quo. This means that they're often able to see patterns that others miss, patterns that might lead to innovative solutions to old problems. So the next time you're faced with a problem, take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Look for the patterns and connections. And don't be afraid to think outside the box. You might be surprised at what you can come up with. As a neurodivergent person myself, I've been able to use my pattern recognition skills to my advantage in a number of ways. One way I've done this is by pursuing careers that allow me to use my strengths. I've always loved solving puzzles and mysteries, but also helped me see when someone is lying or try scam me or others. As a ADHDer, I'm constantly looking for patterns and connections in the news, with people or anywhere in my life. I'm always trying to figure out what's really going on and what the bigger story is. I've also used my pattern recognition skills in my personal life. I'm a very disorganized person, so I have to creating systems and routines. This helps me to keep track of my life and allows me to make the most of my time. I'm also a very visual person and get distracted all the time, but that is actually a good thing sometimes. While Autistic people are focused, I am actually scanning for everything. The voice patterns, the facial expressions, what the person is not saying. What I remember they said it before. That includes my surroundings and other people not involved in the conversation or what I am doing it. I'm not the only one who has found success using pattern recognition skills. There are many other neurodivergent people who have used their unique brains to achieve great things. For example, many autistic people are highly successful in STEM fields. Their ability to focus and attention to detail allows them to excel in these areas. People with ADHD often go on to become entrepreneurs or business owners. Their ability to think outside the box and take risks allows them to be very successful in these roles. Of course, this is not to say that all neurodivergent people are highly successful. Neurodiversity exists on a spectrum and everyone is affected by neurodivergence in different ways. Some neurodivergent people struggle to succeed in a neurotypical world, and that's not their fault. The world is not set up for neurodivergent brains to thrive. But for those who do succeed, pattern recognition is often a key factor. It's important to note that pattern recognition is not the only strength that neurodivergent people have. Neurodivergent brains are capable of so much, and it's important to celebrate all of the different ways in which we are unique. However, pattern recognition is definitely one of our superpowers, and it's something that should be celebrated. At our core, we're all pattern-seeking creatures. We are biologically wired to recognize patterns. And it's no surprise that neurodivergent brains are often incredibly adept at it. We are naturally curious and love to explore the world around us. We ask questions and seek answers until we understand how things work. And in doing so, we uncover the hidden patterns that govern the universe. But it's not just about uncovering these patterns. It's also about using them to our advantage. When we recognize patterns, we are able to make predictions and take actions accordingly. This is a skill that is essential for survival. It allows us to anticipate what will happen next and prepare ourselves accordingly. It allows us to navigate the world with confidence and ease. So the next time you find yourself facing a challenge, take a step back and look for the patterns. Consider the bigger picture and try to connect the dots. You might be surprised at what you find. You might just find that you have the ability to solve the problem if you only recognize the pattern it follows. We are all neurodivergent in our own ways. And while there are certainly challenges that come with that, there are also a lot of benefits. Pattern recognition is just one of the many skills that we excel at, and it's important to recognize and celebrate those skills. As we come to the end of this video, I want to leave you with one final thought. Neurodivergent brains are not broken. They are simply different. And that difference allows us to see the world in a different way. It allows us to come up with different solutions to problems, and it allows us to lead more fulfilling and meaningful lives. So embrace your neurodivergence and use it to your advantage. The world needs your unique perspective, and the patterns that you see are the key to unlocking your potential. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video has given you a new perspective on pattern recognition and how it relates to neurodivergence. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I would love to have you back for future videos. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next. Please don't feed the troll. All they want is attention, not the right kind. So go on ignoring them. Bye.